Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. Well, good morning. It's just a pleasure to be here, and I want to take the opportunity to recognize all my colleagues so that my other colleagues don't have to recognize all my other colleagues. We're delighted to have Speaker Shekarchi here, who's just a tremendous leader, Senator Bissaillon, Mayor Smiley, and then we have our Attorney General, Peter Neronha, Treasurer DelSesto is here, Scott Slater is here, Representative Rich Lachair from the DHDDH, Judge Slafazier, District Court, John Tassoni, Tom Coder, and George Zanier, a former representative. We're delighted, all of us, to be here to salute CODAC. Now, I'm particularly delighted to be with my colleague, Senator Whitehouse, because we work together to get the resources, or some of the resources, to make this possible. Now, I've known CODAC for a long time. In fact, it stands for Cranston. That's the C. It opened up about 3 blocks from my home on Pontiac Avenue in Cranston a long time ago. So it's wonderful to see this beautiful place here. I see Craig standing. Thank you, Craig. But CODAC is really one of the great engines to help people throughout this state. It's dynamic. It is helping a whole spectrum of issues, behavioral issues, because CODAC understands that mental, physical, and emotional care is at the heart of comprehensive treatment. And they are the leaders in comprehensive treatment all across this state. And again, Senator Whitehouse and myself worked together to get $1.2 million so that facility can be developed and we can further the integration of healthcare in this state. I am just very, very proud of the legacy of CODAC, but more enthused and proud about its future. With this facility, with the mobile facilities, they're going to reach this whole state, and they're going to provide for people the means to bring themselves out of difficult situations and get them ready to succeed. And that's the essence of this country, ladies and gentlemen. We have to give everybody an opportunity to succeed, and CODAC helps so tremendously. Thank you so very, very much. Be well.
What a day. The sun is shining. The building is finished. It's fabulous. And I'm so glad that so many people have turned out for this. It shows the support that Linda Hurley and CODAC have earned as they have gone about their business. Many of us can remember going to visit her earlier facility, going up the ramshackle stairs to the rusted grating. It looked like you were doing a drug deal, not getting treatment services. Now you look at this place, it's exactly what it should look like. It is beautiful. And when we were doing the Comprehensive Addiction Recovery Act, what we were dreaming of is the kind of treatment where you get the wraparound services in addition to the addiction services, where we go to where you are, and they literally go to where you are in the van, and where once you're done with the immediate treatment, you still have a place to go to support your recovery. All of that is here. So to everybody who's been involved in this day, I am so grateful. We are all so proud of you. I love Linda Hurley. Let's just say that. And her whole team has been truly, truly fabulous. Onward to more successes.
Our congressional delegation steps up once again. Give them a little round of applause. They clearly do the work for us each and every day. And of course, Linda and Sandra and CODAC, nationally renowned for their work. And thank you for the invitation to be here today to congratulate you on the work that you have done in the past, and now a beautiful facility and the work that's going to happen going forward. This center is a major step forward in making Rhode Island a healthy place to live, work, and raise a family. And that's one of our top 3 goals of the Rhode Island 2030 plan. I want to thank all our colleagues that are here today with us because I know that they support Linda and the mission of the board here very strongly. This facility will allow CODAC to provide comprehensive health services to all Rhode Islanders, including treatment for substance use, with a focus on opioid use disorder, treatment and recovery supports. And we've seen a positive impact that CODAC has had in helping Rhode Island address the opioid crisis, specifically with the treatment program with a with our Department of Corrections and the Mobile Medical Unit. This is an all-in effort partnership, and as Senator White has said, I have visited the facilities that you were referring to. This is a bright day for this work, right? The new center supports the efforts to combat the dangerous threat, as I said, of opioids on our communities, and amplifies the work we're doing on a state level. Just last week, I was proud to announce a $2.5 million grant opportunity through our Executive Office of Health and Human Services and the Rhode Island Foundation. Thank you, David. And to address the opioid crisis and to help those in need get the resources and support they deserve. We've also seen great success in our 8 new certified community behavioral health clinics, including one at Family Services Rhode Island right here in Providence. These clinics have allowed us to expand behavioral health care access for all Rhode Islanders, regardless of age, insurance, immigration status, or diagnosis. And we've also continued to invest in the future of behavioral health by focusing on the men and women who provide it. And that's why in my budget this year, we're proposing another $200,000 for the Health Professional Loan Repayment Program. This allows healthcare professionals, including those in behavioral health field, to work off their loans in our state while helping Rhode Island achieve better health outcomes. So all of this work is complemented by CODAC's new center. I'm encouraged at the progress Rhode Island and its health partners have made in addressing behavioral health care in recent years, and there are many services out there for those in need. Thank you to Linda and Sandra, CODAC board. On behalf of the people of the state of Rhode Island, I'd like to present this citation to Linda as well in recognition of CODAC Behavioral Health Care grand opening. So Linda, why don't you just come on up and accept this in recognition of the grand opening of CODAC, new fully integrated community health care center headquarters located here in Providence. Congratulations to you, Linda.
Oh, come on. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Let me begin by congratulating Linda and Sandra and the board and all of you for making this happen. This is such an important day for Rhode Island and for Rhode Islanders. You know, that short bio that the Colonel was generous enough to me to share with you is the story for most of my career being a state and federal prosecutor. And one of the things that I really am so grateful to Linda for is her inspiration and education of a prosecutor. I think Bill Belichick wrote a book, An Education of a Coach. I've been married for 30 years, so I don't have a 24-year-old girlfriend, but I have been educated by Linda, and that is to think of substance use disorder as a public health issue and not an issue for our criminal justice system. And where we started with that was changing the simple possession of any kind of drug from a felony to a misdemeanor. And, you know, we in law enforcement, and I heard what a horrible thing that would be for Rhode Island. And yet just the opposite has been true. Just the opposite has been true. We now think of possession of drugs, narcotics, as a public health problem and not a criminal justice one. And that has been a huge step forward for Rhode Island. I've really been grateful, too, to Linda for her inspiration as we took on the opioid companies and brought back $250 million to Rhode Island. Rhode Island alone, more than really hundreds of millions, billions of dollars across the country to fight the opioid crisis. And for the first time in more than a decade, I believe strongly because of that investment back into communities, the number of overdoses is actually coming down. We have a long way to go. But when there's a drop in overdose of 25%, that means that places like CODAC and the money that we brought home is finally making a difference. But there are for certain fights ahead. As wonderful as a day this is, there are fights ahead. We will need our great congressional delegation more than ever to fight to bring funds home back to Rhode Island to fund work like this. The recent lawsuit that our office brought right here in Rhode Island against the Trump administration for dismantling HHS, that is such a long complaint that it's easy to overlook exactly what the Trump administration is trying to do to the Department of Health and Human Services, which not only includes things like the CDC, but includes the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Administration, SAMHSA. The administration is effectively dismantling SAMHSA. If you're getting grants through SAMHSA, the grant office is closed. When you call SAMHSA, no one answers the phone. This is where we are headed under the administration. And if we don't fight back in the courts here in Rhode Island, alongside our delegation as they take on this dismantling of our healthcare system, we will not have days like this going forward. And so I ask that you join us in that fight. Fight for places like CODAC, but most importantly, fight for Rhode Islanders that are facing a public health crisis, that are experiencing a public health crisis. And together we can win this fight. Thank you very much.
Good morning. What an exciting day. A beautiful day weather-wise and beautiful day with so many people, so many elected officials. It's a credit to the organization, to Linda and their government relations team, Lisa Andoja, Brendan Doherty. Do a great job for you, Linda, and everybody here at CODAC. They deserve the recognition they're getting today, as do you. And what makes CODAC so special among a whole list of agencies who do great work, because CODAC gets it. They understand that when someone's coming to see them, it's not always necessary a substance abuse problem. There may be other issues. There may be behavior issues. There may be mental health issues. CODAC fully gets it and fully understands it. It is through that understanding of the individual and the person who needs assistance that they've been successful. And let's not kid ourselves. The general was right and the governor was right. Our federal delegation punches way above its weight. And it's that collaborative effort that we work together in the General Assembly. All of them, all of us, nobody can do anything alone. For CODAC to be successful and for any basically significant effort that we do in the state, we must work together. I want to give a shout out to Scott Slater, my deputy finance director, chairman. He does a phenomenal job. He makes the trains run on time, as you can see. And Scott deserves that recognition. And yes, things are difficult. Things are difficult right now. But we got a great delegation. We have an attorney general who's fighting in the courts. And when I call Tom Codere, he answers the phone. He answers it not only for me, but he answers it for all of Rhode Island. So Tom, thank you for what you do. Yes, it's not easy. We're lucky you're still there. The state of Rhode Island's lucky you're there. I see some of Governor McKee's directors here continually to work hard. And of course, where's John Tassoni? John Tassoni. He continues to be a force. They're way in the back. Continues to be a force. It is with this collaborative effort, with so many people, we are seeing significant results. Things are happening for the better. Overdoses are down. It's through a hard work, through effort that everybody's working together to get things done. But nobody does it better than Linda Hurley. Nobody does it better than CODAC. And thank you very much. Well-deserved recognition today, Linda. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Colonel, for that introduction. If anyone's wondering where Senate District 1 is, it's here. So welcome to Senate District 1. And let me be one of the first to say, welcome, Linda, to Senate District 1. We are so lucky and proud and fortunate to have you here. Senate District 1, which includes this area, Elmhurst, Smith Hill, for centuries has been a welcoming community, whether it was the Irish, then the Italians, then individuals that came here, oftentimes first-generation immigrants, war-torn Southeast Asia, war-torn Africa. And most recently, we opened our arms to Echo Village. I know housing is an issue that is front and center these days, as well as trying to assist those experiencing homelessness. And now we're so pleased and proud to welcome CODAC as a service deliverer to our community. I don't want to belabor many points on what is a big day for Linda and her entire team, but I will start by, there's been a common refrain, and that's about Representative Slater throughout all the speakers. And I will just say that it was Representative Slater and my dear friend, former Senate Majority Leader Michael McCaffrey, along with the Attorney General, that really worked to change the paradigm of how we deal with criminalizing simple possession in the state. That was his piece of legislation. And along with the Attorney General, they were able to carry it across the finish line. And for the better part of a decade now, the General and many other reps and senators up at the State House have been working diligently, intentionally, although at times government can move slowly, to shift the paradigm about how we treat substance use disorders. Instead of criminalizing them, criminalizing individuals, working to get them treatment that they so desperately need. I see Chief Judge LaFazzi has joined us today from the District Court. One of those other reforms, along with it had the support of the Speaker of the House, was implementing a mental health treatment calendar in our state's district court system. So I just want to thank and acknowledge that work as well that's being done in our justice system. In the cacophony and noise and headlines that can often be national politics, I think we're so blessed in Rhode Island to have Senator Reed and Senator Whitehouse, because honestly, whether it's international conflict or how to deal with the Trump administration, we can really just sit back and follow their lead and trust their wisdom and trust their judgment. I know as a policymaker, I often feel blessed to be able to do that. My day job, CEO of Justice Assistance, was mentioned. That is an organization where we work to get individuals that are oftentimes on the front end, but sometimes in reentry from the criminal justice system, the resources they so desperately need. For decades, we worked as case managers. Over the better part of the last 3 years, we've worked to bring services in-house because we have recognized the importance of integrated care. And so that's why a facility like this is so desperately needed and will be life-changing for so many individuals. I was on my way over here this morning, and my wife asked what was in store for the day, and every day is different. And I told her I was going to the ribbon cutting at CODAC, and we had the opportunity to sit with Linda a couple months ago at a dinner. And she said, "Could you remind me what they do again?" And I think that examples and analogies can often be so important when talking about populations in crisis, because at times it can feel so distant. How can I relate to that feeling of despair that oftentimes forces individuals into crisis? And it's hard not to, right on the other side of that bridge, not even a train stop away, is the old AAA. And I liken integrated care to almost when an individual is driving on the highway and they get a flat tire and they don't know who to call, but they have AAA, right? And so integrated care can be so important for individuals that are in crisis because they bump into a guardrail, they show up at a door, and it's not as simple as just telling them, okay, this primary care facility is taking patients, or there's no wait list at this mental health provider. You really have to meet that person there and then and enter into a caring relationship and provide a full continuum of care. That's what we try to do at Justice Assistance, or working towards rather. And I am so honored really to welcome CODAC and this facility to this district. I will just say that it's an honor and a privilege to be here on behalf of the Senate, to be here on behalf of President Lawson, who these issues I know she has deep sympathy for and works to champion them day in and day out. In the Senate, we have a rich tradition of working to improve the social service delivery care system in the state. You heard about Tom Coderre, who was at SAMHSA up until a few weeks ago, who was a former state senator and a former Senate chief of staff like I was as well. You heard about former Senator John Tassoni, who is no stranger to any of you and the work that he's done. Senator Josh Miller, who many of you worked for nearly 2 decades. And I just want to acknowledge that work. And I do want to acknowledge the work of my dear friend, the former Senate President Dominic Ruggiero, who Linda and the government relations team here, the advocates, Lisa Andoja and Colonel Doherty, they were never more than a phone call away for Dominic. And he cared about building, so he would have loved to see the work that's gone in here. But he also very, very much cared about people. And he would have loved to have seen that when folks walk through this door, they get a warm greeting and they get a compassionate continuum of integrated care. And so from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you and welcome to Senate District 1 CODAC. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Colonel. I feel like we had to clear a few things up here. Scott Slater is still a rep. Tom Coderre is still at SAMHSA, and Providence is the best city in America. So It is a delight. Just like Senator Bissaillon, we are so happy that CODAC is in the city of Providence. And Senator Whitehouse, the last site wasn't pretty, but it served thousands of people. And we know that this facility will as well. We are so excited to celebrate with the entire CODAC team for what's going to happen here. In Providence, we understand, as so many speakers have already said, that recovery is not a linear process, that the way in which we care for people takes time, is layered, that there is no wrong front door, and a facility like this will provide all of the multitude of services necessary. In addition to my colleagues in public service, I want to recognize Rachel Ferreira, who runs the city's Department of Human Services, who's our lead partner in city government. And we know we work closely with all of you in partnership with the state. And thank you, Governor and the Attorney General, for the funds he helped secure from the opioid settlement funds. Providence is continuing to put money out on the street as well to partners through our settlement funds. Last year, nearly $1 million in settlement funds that came out from the city of Providence, including the expansion of our EMS bike program, which was funded through Senator Whitehouse's effort and the foundation of the CARA grant. We are so grateful for that. What is going to happen here is that more lives are going to be saved. Colonel Doherty said that I'm focused on the quality of life here in Providence, and that includes the quality of life for all of our neighbors, every one of our neighbors, including those who are suffering with substance use disorder or other mental health challenges. Everyone appropriately has thanked Linda and her team, and I'd like to do the same, but I'd also like to just close by recognizing this is a little bit like a reunion here today of leaders in the mental health space who are current leaders, former leaders, partners, every one of you who every day wakes up and does an extraordinarily difficult job to serve our neighbors. I want to thank you. It is not a career that you're going to get rich in money, but hopefully it enriches your soul because you are saving lives on a daily basis and serving our neighbors and our friends. And at this point, honestly, which member of us doesn't have a member of our family that isn't suffering? And so thank you for all of your hard work. This is yet one more milestone, but we know we have so much more work to do. But congratulations to CODAC for getting it done and for taking this giant leap forward. Thank you.
Thank you all to our fabulous elected officials who've been so supportive to CODAC. Thank the staff. Raise your hands, staff. Look at all around here. All right. Director Leclerc and all our friends of CODAC who are here. Today has been a long time coming. And here we are celebrating the realization of a dream that many before it's a long one too. All right. Okay. Time marches on. It's a realization of a dream that many before have imagined and worked for. It was actually Isaac Newton who said, "I stand on the shoulders of giants." As one of the founders of this great agency, I believe it is my humble role to acknowledge those giants who came before and had a vision of behavioral health programming open to all and serving them as whole persons. It was Cranston's former mayor, James Taft. Is anyone here from his family? No, I think so. All right. Who first saw the need of an umbrella agency, all services. And here we are today to prevent and treat substance use disorders. He sent several people to Arizona to see a program entitled Community Organization for Drug Abuse Control, CODAC. One of them was Carmen Catalano, and who's still active and a friend of CODAC's. From that visit, CODAC was born. CODAC was led by two visionary giants. First, Craig Stenning, who built this agency from a small storefront on Park Avenue in Cranston to a respected multi-service organization. Craig, raise your hand. He was followed by Michael Rizzi, whose steady hand kept Kodak thriving through some very challenging times. We need to thank them now. They were supported by a dedicated board of directors, past and present. There are a few here today. Raise your hand. Noah and Ken and Don Fowler, who was one of another founder of Kodak. And an equally dedicated staff. Never was the mission to serve its clients far from their minds. And we owe these giants our profound thanks. Now on to another giant. It is our current executive director, Linda Hurley, who has brought this vision of an umbrella, full-service, nationally recognized program to fruition. Linda began at Kodak 37 years ago as an unpaid intern. Imagine that. And she's done nearly every job in the agency. As our director, she has worked tirelessly and relentlessly, and I know that from phone calls as early as 7:30 in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. All right, Linda is on the job, relentlessly working to make today happen. I think what we have here today exceeds all those dreams. So it is with great pride that I introduce to you that dream maker, Linda Hurley. Thank you, Linda.
I'm just so enormously, remarkably grateful to each and every one of you that are here. The staff of Kodak, the previous staff of Kodak, my mentors, Mike Rizzi, Craig Stenning. It is what Sandra said that so eloquently, that we've built upon what you have created for us. So my gratitude, and the words don't work because, as I said, it's with each and every one of you. It's gratitude for everyone, and for all that you've given to us in not just funding, because the funding is remarkable. Thank you. I mean, this would not have happened without our Senate delegation in DC. It wouldn't have happened, and I'm so, again, the word is grateful. I'm overusing it. But it was also the trust that so many of you have placed in Kodak over the years. And that trust would not have developed if it hadn't been for the staff that we've had over the years. So you can see that how all of this comes together. My name was used a lot today. And, I am honored, and I have an ego like everybody else. It feels really good. But the reality is that if I didn't have this to represent, you wouldn't know who Linda Hurley was. And that's a fact. This is just built on history and built on energy, built on compassion, and actually built on love for humanity in general. And I'm not being overly dramatic. That is who our staff is. And so, we've built all of that. And what's different today, and I've heard some of the speakers before me reference, the various aspects of what we've developed here. I think it shows a really good picture. I'm not going to go into the lists of partners, etc. But we have wonderful community partners. And this whole new philosophy about changing the culture of care, this whole new philosophy about meeting people where they are, both psychologically, spiritually, and geographically. This whole philosophy about creating access and addressing barriers to access that are not just geographic, but they're also some of that institutionalized bias that we've had through the years, all of us. And then the final piece, we've had the funding now, and we're recognizing that we need to change the culture of care. We need to pay attention to the word care, not, various pillars for funding streams. And most importantly, in order for the state, for our country, actually, we have got to work harder and really create strong collaborations that work. and how do we know they work? We keep the individual that needs care in front of us at all times. And when we keep them in front of us at all times, that's when we recognize what the needs are. And if we do that and we come together, I mean, we have partners here that in the building, I'm going to specifically, call out that neighborhood healthcare was one of the first that put trust in us, and they actually rent a space. Because 93% of the people that come to us for care at CODAC are Medicaid members. They are people that have been marginalized, disenfranchised, all those words you've all heard. But this is what we do. And so we have the Department of Labor and Training that I just got confirmation Friday that they're actually going to be here in the building working for workforce development for the people that come to us for care, as including the other things that they do, of course. The Department of Corrections, we have Rhode Island parole and probation in this building. So when people come for parole and probation appointments or to meet with probation, because my son, my daughter, my uncle, my dog, I don't know, who is on probation, I have questions. They're here and they're coming into a building that's not a building with a huge ton of deferred maintenance, that doesn't feel like a jail or a prison. They're coming to a physical plant that respects them. And this is a physical metaphor. Thank you. This is a physical metaphor for that. And so with that all being said, there's so much more. I'm going to invite you. We have staff that are going to give tours, and I would love for you to come inside. The wind kind of kept the cookies and the coffee and the water inside. So please come in. We have wonderful refreshments, and staff or I will give you a tour. You can see who all of our wonderful partners are. I mean, it's just astounding. We have 7 different medical specialties represented in this building, not just opioid treatment. Not that that's not what we know and do really, really well. It's just not all that we do. We have psychiatric and other behavioral health, a whole suite. And we have a suite of social services. And that, to use Sandra's metaphor about the umbrella and CODAC, the umbrella, to pull it all together, is fully integrated, a formal partnership of fully integrated peer recovery support services with East Bay Community Recovery Support Center. So thank you to all of our partners. Thank you to the community. Thank you to the staff. Thank you to Craig and Michael. And I can't go through everyone. Thank you here. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much.